I asked myself a question I couldn't shake. What happens if I'm still doing this in 3 years and I'm failing? I gave a good answer. Or God gave me a good answer. Something about the long game. Something about faith. The question is real. The risk is real. And I think God gives us a faith answer more often than not. More importantly, I think people are each given the opportunity to have God-sized plans for your life. But it's the faith that limits us. And it's not that we each need to be the president of the United States, but rather what talents have we been given that we haven't used? What talents have we been given that we've wasted? That could have been great. And I think faith includes practical belief. It isn't just make it up and do what you can. Faith is real. Faith is the thing that keeps me going day in and day out. And now I'm going to show you the risks associated with building my own business, the faith that it takes to get there, and the benefit regardless of success or failure in God's eyes. Let's start with some facts. 22% of businesses in their first year in the US fail. They don't just peter, they die. Almost half of everything that starts doesn't make it in 5 years. Now content creators. 73% of channels upload less than 10 videos and then die. The number one reason isn't that people didn't have a chance, that they stopped before they had a chance. More than 90% never reached 10,000 subscribers. 96% of channels never hit the 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. This is fear in statistics. This is fear in reality. But it's not too much for God. And it's not too much for His will and His ability to put our efforts into something beautiful. Now that we've talked about the risk, let's talk about the real conversation, the more meaningful conversation. Surviving the risk, surviving the fear, because for I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, plans for calamity, not for destruction. I think I got that quote wrong, but there's another verse too. Is having doubts. When I was in church today, I was listening to the sermon and I thought about how the verse, Lord, where the man is struggling and his son is sick, is possessed by a demon, I believe. Jesus asks him, do you want me to heal your son? And then the man says, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. How many times do we struggle with our doubts and we wonder, are they good enough? And the answer is, the doubts aren't as important as our ability to believe, our desire to have faith, and our desire to trust God. And we don't have to be all the way there like the man. He said, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And so with my business, I'm walking by faith. When Peter walked on water, it wasn't just he had to make a calculus. Can I get there? Can I make it on the water? Is the risk of drowning more important than the risk of meeting my destiny, reaching Jesus? And I think at the heart of it, it's more important to reach Jesus than it is to build a successful business, than it is to be successful, than it is to be loved by the world. Because at the end of the day, the world only looks at what you produce. They don't see how you get there. They don't see you in the middle of the night when you're writing and you're trying to figure out, Lord, how do I make something of myself? I remember when I was trying to figure out, Lord, I want to do something with I have a mental illness. I have the faith. I believe that you can do this. And there are times when I didn't believe. But in that moment I said, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Give me the insight, the wisdom, the power to create something that I want to leave a mark on the world, Lord. I don't want to just be the guy with the mental illness. I want to be the guy who struggles and takes medicine for severe depression. I want to be yours, Lord. I want to be more than a conqueror. I want to see your light and your will in the land of the living. Greater is one day in your house than 1,000 elsewhere. Lord, I just want to be more than a conqueror. I want to know and see that what I've put my heart into, my life into, is worthwhile. I don't want to wonder one day, why didn't I try hard enough in my 20s? Why didn't I try hard enough in my 30s? Why didn't I try this? Why didn't I try that? Why did I waste my talents? Because I know that God has a plan for my life. Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's evidence. It's evidence, people. I feel weird saying that to a camera. In January 17th of 2026, I held a benefit concert. You can check it on my YouTube channel. But in that concert, we were able to feed approximately 60 families. We were able to help the homeless. We're able to do what the Lord has shown us to be good and right and just, to love our neighbor. And that prototype came about because of faith. Not because I was smart, not because I was the wisest or the most attractive or the strongest or the most fit, or I didn't have this belly. It was about God and knowing that His strength is made perfect in weakness. And Lord, I am not enough. But God says, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Perfect. In other words, our weakness is the fertile ground for His strength to rise up and make us more than anything we'd ever thought we could be. So as I'm building Meek Earth Studio, I want you to remember that it's not about me. It's not about Carlton. It's not about how smart he is or how clever he is or how technical his CTO is. It's about taking actionable steps. And here are some actionable steps you can take. Number one, get your ideas out on the paper. That's number one. Number two, it doesn't have to be complex. Okay? You just have to say, Lord, I want to be a painter. Lord, I want to. And then the next step 3, is to practice. Practice every day. Practice whatever you're doing. Set aside, even if it's only 15 minutes, that's more important than 7 hours for one day out of a week. If you practice for 15 minutes, then you'll get to 30. Then you'll keep practicing and get better. Then you'll be awesome. Not because you're awesome, because God has blessed your talents and your investment in Him. Now, step 4, I live on step 4, is to have daily devotions. Have daily devotions. And in those devotions, ask God, Lord, what do you want me to do to reach my destiny? What do you want me to do today? How can I do this better? Please, Lord, please give me insight. Please give me the power and the strength to do this, because I can't do it on my own. Step 5, get wise counselors. I've said this in previous videos, but find people older than you who are also successful in not just in the world, but with Jesus. That's important. Who have fruit. Ask them to pour into you. I have 2 board members from Meek Earth Studio who are wonderful. And they're much older than me, but they pour into me. Step 6, rest when you can. Don't overwork yourself. Sometimes progress, again, it's like the 15 minutes. Progress is more important. Steady progress, I should say. Steady progress is more important than bursts of success or bursts of energy. When you don't feel like it, for me, when I was trying to make the prototype, I had to reach out. I had to contact the advisory board that I formed, and I had to run a show. I had to coordinate with the performer. I had to coordinate with the nonprofit. I had to deliver the food, which is a whole other thing. But I had help, and I wrote it down. Step 8, or is it 7? It could be step 8. Be humble. Be humble enough to admit when you've made a mistake. And then also tie into with this, be honest. Be straightforward with whoever you're dealing with, and commit yourself to the Lord, and He will make your path straight. And trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and always acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. So when I was looking for a co-founder, which I found one, I'll announce him in a later video, but when I was looking for a co-founder, I realized that I didn't understand. I needed to trust God with the decision, which I didn't fully do, but He was able to protect me and brought me to the right person, which I think is the right person. And I'm trusting God that He is the right person. Step 9, remember that you're human. Remember that you're not perfect. Remember that you'll make mistakes. Step 10, get an accountability partner. Find someone who can check in and say, hey, did you get this done on your checklist? Step 11, consider using Claude or a chatbot to help you with ideas. Consider making once a week. Consider having a chatbot, prompt you to say, hey, did you do this on your calendar? Hey, did you do this for productivity? Step 12, give all the glory to God and have faith that what you've put into motion is worth it. And to be transparent, you have to give your email to get the free song, but you can also listen to it on Spotify. But to have a copy of the file of the song, you need to sign up via your email on my Linktree. You can also check the lyric video. But to own a file, click the link in my bio and just That song is also how I'm building a mailing list for the concerts. And so I wrote the song myself. And so if you're interested, please, please, please consider getting the song. For me, faith is having the trust in God that He will do His good will and purpose for my life. Thank you.